What's up? What's up? It's your boy K Steel. And today I just want to talk about just being about all talk and no bark. Or excuse me, all talk and no bite. You know what I mean? Those people that talk a good game, but they don't have anything to show for it. I remember going through some season in my life, that was me. I was the jack of all trades and the master of none. One of the things that I fought throughout my life is consistency, just to continually be consistent at some things in some areas in my life. And to me, that's just the way I function. That was just the way my thought process was. I was all over the place. And then I had to learn how to focus and center some energy, like center my thoughts on, say, one or two things and see those things through and stop being the guy that talk a good game. I remember back in the days when I used to sell door to door. I was a door to door salesman selling Kirby vacuums, and I would have to talk my tail off to sell this $1,500 vacuum. Yes, I sold a few. Matter of fact, I won a trip to Hawaii when I sold like 8 in a week. But what happened with that was I really wanted to get to a place, a high position in that company. And I remember just working my tail off. And I noticed that I wasn't getting paid the way I was supposed to. So, for example, to sell 8 vacuums at a certain amount of money, right? Um, those vacuums are going anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 at that time. I think the biggest check I ever got the people to write was like $2,400 for vacuum cleaner with all the fixings, right? All the warranties and all these things. They literally cash out a check for $2,200 or $2,300. And I remember I only made about $600-700 out of that, all that money, if that. And it was sucked because I remember putting in some real work. I put in some real work to sell to sell one of those vacuums in 1 week was hard. So we were selling these vacuums, and people were getting the vacuum on credit. Then I was told, "Oh, the credit ain't good, but you sold the vacuum. You got them on contract." And so it got to a point to where I was working my tail off, and what the people showed me was the people that I was working for, they were all talk and no action. So, for example, they talked a good game about rewarding us when we were selling the vacuum cleaners and doing whatever. But I remember that I got real discouraged because I really believed in them. You know, I really put my time, efforts into the company. Some days we were out 7 days a week, pounding the pavement, walking all over the place. I even moved up to Oregon when I was a youngster for about 6 or 7 months, and I pound the pavement. We slept in hotels throughout the week. Like it's a team of us, and we would drive around in this van. And some of these places were very harsh. I remember I was going to a house in Battlegrounds, Washington, and I remember coming into the city, and I told my boss, I said, "Hey, dude, something about this don't really feel right." And he's a Caucasian man, so being a white man, he's not going to experience the type of racism I felt in certain parts of Oregon. I'm not saying all of Oregon, but certain parts of Oregon, it was very much evident, right? And it, like everywhere in the United States, you have your ignorance. And so one time we went to this old guy's house, and he was sitting on his porch. He was sitting there, and I went halfway up the porch, and I gave my spiel. And I remember just like, I got to get the sale. I got to get the sale, because I wanted to be more than just the talk. I wanted to be about it, right? So I get halfway up the driveway, and I think it was because the older gentleman probably had vision issues. But I'm going to tell you something. He was sitting on the porch, and I did not see this coming. He said, "Oh, come on in. You can do your demo and make your money." Cool, great. What ended up happening was I went back to the van. My boss was all excited, and right before he pulled off, I walked closer to the gentleman, and I had this big old box vacuum cleaner in my hand, and the dude says, "Stop where you are." He reached beside his rocking chair and pulled up a shotgun and cocked it and aimed it at me. And I remember sitting there like, "Oh my God, I'm about to lose my life over a vacuum cleaner." And I remember sitting the vacuum cleaner down, and as I'm backing away slowly, I'm backing away. My boss is like, "Get the vacuum." I'm like, "The hell with the vacuum cleaner." And I remember just saying, "This ain't it. this is not it." And so I backed away. I noticed he the more I backed away, the more he put the gun down. And so my boss was like, "Get the vacuum cleaner, get the vacuum cleaner." I was like, "Nah, you go ahead and get it." So I slowly walked back to the van. I got back in the van, and then my boss got out of the car, the van, and went and got the vacuum cleaner. And so I stayed in the van all day. All day I stayed in this van, just kind of fuming, eating my snacks and just like whatever. I'm not pounding the pavement here. It was two black guys on this team. And so what ended up happening, one Mexican dude, two black guys, and several white guys. And so what happened was we were driving around Battlegrounds, Washington, and I was like, man, this is a bit much. And so nobody was really having any luck. And the guy was like, Ken, you're my best salesman. So I need you to pound this pavement. I need you to get at least one more house. And it started to get dark. And I was like, dude, it's not cool for us to be out here, right? So he went down this long driveway. I don't know why he did this, but it was a light on, and the house looked like it was kind of engulfed in some leaves and different things, like trees around. And I was like, dude, we shouldn't be on this property, right? So I end up going into the house. I got into the house. I put all the equipment out. The lady was loving it, and the mom was loving it. She was sitting over in the corner, but the husband was very quiet, right? Excuse me while I fix this situation. The husband was very quiet. And what ended up happening was this guy was drinking a beer, and he started to, get real red. He wasn't saying much. He was just sitting in the corner. And so he's drinking his beer, and then all of a sudden, right? All of a sudden, this guy pulls out the biggest butcher knife. I don't know if it was for cutting deer, cutting clothes. I don't know what this knife was for, but he brings out this huge butcher knife, and he sits it on the nightstand next to the couch or the coffee end table, whatever it is, on the end of the couch, and he says, if you make any sudden moves, I'm gonna gut you. Now, mind you, I'd already been in this man's house for like 45 minutes, right? The sale wasn't that serious. So in that situation, I had to tuck my tail, right? And I looked at him, and I was like, I'm no easy win. I said, I'm only in here to sell a vacuum cleaner. That's it. You know what I mean? I'm a college student. I'm just trying to make some money. And he's just starting to get upset while I was in his house. And so as I was talking though, I was already kind of starting to back away. And I was like, you know what? It's not this serious. And I remember his wife looking at me like, oh my God. She was so disappointed and disheartened, but it seemed like she was more afraid that he was really going to do something. So she didn't really say anything. And the mother-in-law just was quiet in the corner. And I just backed out, and I went to go get my boss. And this jerk went back in the house, which was funny to a certain degree. This jerk went back in the house and tried to sell some more. So he was in there a whole nother 45 minutes trying to sell, even after I told him what I just experienced. And it showed me that he didn't understand where I was coming from in the thing of racism that I was experiencing in that town. And this is not about racism or anything like that. This was about, I felt like, going into different cities as a vacuum salesman, I had to be about it. I had to be about that action, right? When I won the trip to Hawaii, I blessed my boss and his wife, because he said he was just a cool dude at pretty laid back. And I blessed him and his wife with my 2 tickets to Hawaii. And I could have easily took the girl I was dating at the time. I could have easily took her to Hawaii, but I felt like I didn't, even though I deserved it, I didn't really deserve it. I was like, I'm going to get there a different way, in a different time, in a different season of my life. So right now, I want to bless the guy that kind of helped me get to Oregon in the first place and helped me set up and all that kind of stuff. But that was short-lived. They got to go to Hawaii, whatever. And then so that was a blessing to him and his wife. But my point is, there are seasons in our life where we got to go through some things, and we just got to be all action, not just to talk. And being a door-to-door salesman, being a network marketing salesman, I've done different things. And we come to a season in our life, that's all we know. You know what I mean? You sell things, you do different stuff, but there are also seasons in our life where we realize we're just doing more talking than anything. So if there's something that you need to be doing, if there's, I don't know if it's sewing, bowling, motivational speaking, if it's writing books, if it's anything, I feel like you just need to eliminate your excuses. There's a couple of things that I wrote down that I just want to share. Is cowards never quit. This is somebody from like some anonymous things that I had looked up. Cowards never quit, and the week never finished. So look at yourself. Have you been a coward about some things in your life? Plain and simple. Let's just get to the bulk of everything. right? When you feel like quitting, think about why you started. I think that's so important. When you feel like quitting, think about why you started. Um, the moment you're about to quit is the moment you're closest to your greatest breakthrough or your greatest miracle, I would say. There was this meme. There was this meme of a guy, and many of you probably seen this. There's a meme of a guy who seen. It was a cartoon of a guy who was a diamond digger. He was digging for diamonds, and he was inches away from these diamonds, and he walked away, and somebody came right along down the same trail, but just on a picture that was one on top of the other. But he came down and went through all this man's hard work, and he was inches, and that other man got the biggest diamond find of his life. So my point is, like, a lot of times we be all talk. We'll do something consistently for a little while, and then we might lose heart, get exhausted, get tired, and quit. And I think that we all go through those seasons, and it's okay to go through those seasons, to be honest with you, because sometimes that is our reset, the things that we need to do. So with that being said, when you're going through those moments when you're ready to quit, know that there's a miracle right around the corner. And sometimes, listen, you're going through these trials and tribulations, you're working hard at it, and it's like, I just want to be done. And it's okay. We all done it. Just don't stay there. Just don't stay there. If you need to reset, go take you a 2-day trip. If you need to reset, go to take you a quick vacation. But use it for what it's for, to relax. Somewhere where you don't take work, you don't take cell phones, you don't take television. Take you some books. Get quiet. Reset your mind. Reset your thinking. Learn to quiet the head noise. When you learn to quiet the head noise, you can be more about that action because it's not cluttered. Your thinking process is not cluttered. Listen, life has 2 lessons. Never quit. Number 1, never quit. And number 2, never forget rule number 1. You know, you've probably heard it from your best motivational speakers, right? And just know something. The richest, the wealthiest, the smartest, everybody go through their seasons in life. And sometimes they have have their tire moments, but they have to learn how to reset. You and only you know what your reset is. Okay? You and only you know what your reset is. So I just encourage you today, don't be all talk. Be about that action. And sometimes when you reset, the thing that you've been like, man, confused about, the thing that you've been concerned about, the thing that you've been misunderstood about, like the things that you've been misunderstanding, sometimes when you reset, the answer's been there all along. It's been there all along, but you got so much head noise going on, right? That it's time to take a moment to reset so you can not only be about talking, but you can definitely be about that action. This is K Steele. Talk to y'all in a minute. Peace out.